Rise and shine, sleep talkers. I know I could be sounding more enthusiastic, but I am just, I've just been in the middle of moving house, and I also realized that I did not bother to look at the length of this replay, so we're gonna go in blind. It's GSC MV. This is round 2. We got Melancholy, who defeated Xylo XX, and Ombrarch, who defeated July. So this is actually the winner's side. July was the runner-up in the... we actually just covered that player in the match versus Dawn in the grand finals of the qualifier. Silver bracket? I don't remember. Anyways, I don't really know Ombrarch too well. Like, we've interacted a bit, but I remember a while back I had a matchup versus them, and I'm talking about like 2 years ago. It was just CPL, but I can't really say much. Like, they must have leveled up, to be in this tournament to begin with, So that's good on them. We'll see what style they like. As for Melancholy, I do seem to... He has a very recognizable style of building. It seems more akin to how someone would build in GSC if their main tier was a different one. And by that, I mean that they, like, you might even see something like a Scarm Bliss, or you might see stall teams that have a lot of decompression. So they don't compress like a bunch of rolls that would cause the Pokemon to be spread thin while trying to answer Snorlax and keep the spikes on the field. He builds to his strengths in a way that is completely unique in his. So it's pretty interesting, to say the least. Very solid player. I don't know, it just kind of gives me Star Master vibes. All right, so let's, I guess that's enough for an intro. You guys can join the Discord and do all that good shit while I try to cover this match. We got Lax lead. And we already see something particular for an Ombrarch. He's got both an Eggy and a Skarmory, and he switches out of the... He was switching out from the Snorlax. So he has Eggy, and the fact that he switches out might indicate that he doesn't want to stay in, right? It's a status spreading egg. Probably going to be, judging by the team, it's probably a sleep powder, but I don't know. To go straight to Skarmory like that is a very interesting play because you're revealing so much information about your team, yet also raising a lot of questions. So Melancholy stays in for one turn and attacks the Snorlax, right? So managing to get successfully about 50% on that Lax, forcing it to rest, getting some early spikes. And we see Starmie coming in. So I'm very curious as how the Eggy is going to play into this. And yeah, so far, Starmie is toxic, spreads some paralysis. Never underestimate the power of paralysis. Like, you're putting your Lax... Yes, it is the slowest Pokemon, so it doesn't care about the speed drop, but it's still one of the best Pokemon in the game, getting a 1 in 4 chance of not attacking. So, Fire Blast Lax reveal. I'm trailing a little. Gengar reveal. So, Melancholy bringing a quite offensive team here. Now, if I'm Melancholy, I could decide two things. I already revealed half of turn 12, but I can decide to contest the Starmie, stay in, depending on how badly I want those spikes. And if the Starmie goes for Rapid Spin, it's just going to take poison damage. I could spin block, but that also risks jeopardizing the Gengar since it's T-Wave Starmie, and a paralyzed Gengar is really bad. Or I can go to Snorlax on the off chance that Starmie goes for an attack, in which case I'm going to deal damage to it. Starmie will not recover that HP back. It might stay in, so there's an advantage to having Snorlax as opposed to having in Raikou directly. Like Raikou could one-shot the Starmie, but Snorlax doesn't one-shot the Starmie. So the fact that it doesn't one-shot it means Ombrarch could decide to stay in. And if it does anything, Snorlax is going to take just a little more than half of the Starmie's HP. So it would be wise of Ombrarch not to stay in on this Lax, right? We'll see how that goes. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the Lax versus me interactions boils down to, can he get the crit? And punish the Starmie for staying in and trying to spin. But yeah, again, like I said earlier, I was halfway through the turn, so it looked like a turn there, but I was just rambling in the middle of one. So they did spin away the spikes. No reason to stay in. And we see a Miltank in the back. Okay, this is a weird fucking team. I expected this point for it to have no electric. Because why else would you be spinning away spikes? Like, you're not... It's not to protect a Raikou. Your electric resist is Exeggutor at this point. I don't know why. But judging by the paralysis, you have like a Marowak or a Dawn in the back. But you didn't reveal Rhydon because we saw Fire Blast Lax. There was no switch to Miltank earlier either. So I don't think there's a second or a third Curse Lax check. Yeah. So it could be Marowak. I could see Machamp there, potentially. So far, Melancholy is just prioritizing that damage. Now, this would be a nice turn to go for a Surf here, if I'm Chloe, or go for Spikes, of course. Yes, that works too. Chloe can pretty safely come in on Marowak. No biggie. And Melancholy is going to try and keep everything on his team as healthy as possible because he does not know for certain what's in the back. And there we go. I'm glad I took those 2 minutes to prioritize talking because now we get to see this turn, right? So exactly this type of interaction. I love it when I manage to anticipate something coming up. So now in this position, Starmie could click Recover and it would heal 50%. Then it would, right after that, it would lose 12%. And then Snorlax can deal 50 damage. So that would put it 50, 55, 56. So that would put it really, really low, if not outright kill it. So the lefties are going to come in play at the very end of the turn. And that's actually a big factor in deciding this interaction. But no, Melancholy, okay. You know, it would have been it would have had to be a very high roll for the KO to have mattered. So he just brings in Chloe, doubles back to Lax. I like that. I like that. And that actually brings him further down. So now, earlier it was 60, now it's 54. So if we repeat, rinse and repeat, then in 2 turns, the Starmie is gonna be with it. This is safely 2 hit KO range. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So that actually made Melancholy win the interaction. Notice how Miltank cannot challenge the Gengar at all. A lot of Miltank teams have this problem, but Melancholy isn't bringing it in. Okay, so this is where Melancholy is going to cement his spikes. Now, if I'm Melancholy, I might not even go to Snorlax. I might even go to Raikou here. Okay, no, decides to go to Snorlax. Fair enough. Fair enough. But, okay, just tries to get the T-Wave. But that's really risky. Okay. And now it is in, I want to say 2-hit KO range, but the odds are kind of in, yeah, there you go. That's what I was, yeah, because of the para, it's not really 2-hit KO. And now Melancholy kind of decides to go to Gar, gets his Gengar paralyzed. That kind of sucks. But he does defend the spikes nonetheless. So, you know, it was a good trade-off. Didn't get it damaged further. Just switched back out. So he's clearly prioritizing the defense of those spikes. Now Gengar can deal damage to any target here. I could click Ice Punch if I were them. Full paras, so we don't know. All right, with the with the drop of attack, it looks like it's not gonna do much there. Goes for an early boom. Okay. Yep. I like this play because if I boom on the lax, I won't really need the spikes for that long. Probably. Oh no. Well, it's a good thing he kept the Cloyster healthy, because that is going to be a problem. Okay, so I said Marowak. Oh wow. Switching to Starmie, and Melancholy predicts the switch out, but misses. All right. Yeah, very interesting back and forth here. Yep. Okay. I think the Quagsire kind of fits the same criteria as Marowak, except that it actually likes to come in on the electric. So, boom. All right. Okay, not an ideal target. Booming on Miltank is kind of pointless. That was actually a very good trade. And we see Stun Spore. All right. Okay. This is annoying. This Exeggutor is extremely annoying right now. With Lax gone. Yeah. Could be a good turn to use Belly Drum. Maybe not. Okay. If I'm Ombrarch, I might go to Starmie here. Yep. Okay. Okay. Now's the time to... Oh, no. Okay. Another... I feel like that was another missed opportunity to explode. This is bad for Melancholy right now. Oh, he gets the kill on Skarmory, but he doesn't have a Snorlax anymore. That kind of allows them to use the spikes. Oh no, he booms on this. Does he have an answer to Quag in the back? Espeon. Okay. This could actually do the trick. This could do it. All right. Espeon can live another EQ. This could be good. Might actually do the trick here. How much HP does the Lax have? It has 9%. Wow, that was not easy to handle. You needed to be very delicate here with your win condition. Espeon for the win. And that's a good showcase of just some of the trends of the new metagame, where growth offense is on the rise for sure. That was not easy. I don't know if I could have handled that kind of pressure there. So good on Melancholy, good game. And we're going to switch sides again for good measure. You know how it is, best of 3. If you're enjoying it so far, join. We got 40 lead versus Jinx lead. All right. Goes for the lovely kiss. And Ombrarch is bringing Stall. The last one was You can... I don't know. When there's like turn one setup sweepers, I don't necessarily call it a stall team. Okay, so we got ourselves something along the lines of a cased victory, and Ombrarch bringing a slightly more modern team with Ghost plus Donphan. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely Thief. Not trying to thief the Missy, but gets hit by Psychic. All right. And it's Psychic plus Toxic. Doesn't stay in. All right. Okay, Melancholy's got to watch out here. It's a pretty fat team that Ombrarch has. So he needs to be very crafty with the Thief uses. And he's got to target the right Mons. Okay, Growl. Growl is a good tool for Curslax. All right, yep. Might want to watch out for Toxic there. Guess not. Okay. Jinx. Oh shit, that is huge. That could be very big. Oh, and a Psychic crit as well. Forcing the Raikou to rest, allowing Nidoking to come in. Now, if I'm Melancholy, do I prioritize damage or just go straight for that Thief? It's going to go for the damage. It's going to let Cloy in. And we see that Ombrarch's team is a little bit soft to water type. Doesn't have a water resist. That said, Donphan is a really strong answer to Gengar. So, Jinx gets poisoned. Nidoking probably doesn't have Lovely Kiss. Not going to go for that Thief. Huh. Gets some damage. And he's going to bully the Fori. Okay, it's not Hidden Power Ghost. How did he know that? Probably didn't want to lose to opposing HP Fire Fori, so he packed HP Fire, and so he knew it was an HP Ghost. Lax coming in, there's a 10% chance at the end of the turn of it thawing out, even if it's not attacking. It's not like in other generations. So Melancholy makes a nice double switch from the Lax out back to Zapdos. It's actually the first time we see the Zapdos, but since the Lax can deal a lot of physical damage, going to your special attacker can hit that physical wall pretty hard. So Fori is naturally really good at answering Jinx because it doesn't take too much damage. And it's Protect Fori. So one Mon down. And Jinx doesn't take poison damage this turn because it just killed something. Snorlax. Ombrarch really needed a T-Bolt that turn. He's not being given a lot of room to breathe. Melancholy could run away with this. He hasn't even revealed a third move on this Snorlax. So there is a possibility that Zapdos is Whirlwind. Donphan is really bulky. And he's going to sacrifice his Nidoking, not giving Donphan a chance to spin, which will end up racking up even more Spikes damage in the long run. Gets a Toxic on Misdreavus, which is a huge play. That's a huge play. Because that's another That's another Curse Lax check gone in the long run. It's all in the long run. There's a nice crit with what I believe says 0 turns of sleep. So 2 turns of sleep to burn. Calls upon rest. And Jinx is going to deal some damage. Does Melancholy really want this Jinx to go like that? I don't think so. It's like you read my mind. We're communicating telepathically, him from the past and me from the future. Which, to deliver something to the watchers of the present. And it is Whirlwind Zapdos, so expect very high rolls of T-Bolt or electric damage because this Zapdos probably has Magnet. We're going to see. Yeah, and it is Magnet. Jesus. Dealing 101% to this Skarmory. Probably. I don't know. But Magnet actually hurts a lot. It annoys the hell out of Raikou. Let's just say that. And it puts Snorlax in a really awkward position. Coming in and all that, so. Donphan is down. Missy is on a timer. All of a sudden, what seemed like a really fat team just got manhandled. And no, it's not going to be a Perish Trap team because we've seen 3 or 4, 3 of the moves on Missy. The 4th might be Rest, I want to think. There it is. Gengar going to deal some damage. Keeping the pressure up. At the end of the day, I think what Melancholy is teaching us is that even if the target isn't good, as long as it lands, right? That explosion matters. Did you take something out? Then good. So that's the second sacrifice this game to Spikes. Just to get an easier switch. Are we going to see an Earthquake? No. The very clean double. That was a very, very nice double. There's 19% T-Bolt. That magnet damage is going to be huge here. Is this a Whirlwind turn? It is. Yep. Missy dies here. Oh, I totally forgot about the fact that the Snorlax is frozen. It might just thaw anyways. Nope, Lax goes down. Well, now the game is really, really... It's really hard for Ombrarch to win at this point. Getting past Snorlax is going to be a pain in the ass. There's some double-edged damage. He does get a crit, but not with the attack that he would have wanted. I'm not zoning out. I'm... Not again. I'll never do that again. But I'm very tired. And... Oh! Nope. Still there. Hanging in there by the skin of its tusks. But it's going to go down here. And so that is the end of that. Alright then. Wow, that was a very decisive match. Okay. Hope that you guys enjoyed. This was pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Donate if you guys want. Join the Discord. Do all that good shit.